One thing that I like to do on my channel is tell stories, and I have a story for you today on why I enjoy storytelling so much. My favorite type of genre video game these days is the RPG, for the ability to tell a good story, character growth, and all the good things that come with it. But when I was younger, I didn't appreciate the storytelling aspect. Let me take you back to 1988. I'd only heard stories about video games at this point. I've never actually seen one before. But then, I got for Christmas the Nintendo Entertainment System Action Pack with Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. And at that impressionable young age, I assumed that a video game meant going to the right, killing everything in your path, and saving someone. My dad bought the games at the house, and he wasn't a fantasy or a role-playing fan in the least bit, so I wasn't exposed to any games such as Legend of Zelda. It wasn't until he found some games at a yard sale that I got my first RPG, Dragon Warrior. I put it in the console and I was instantly confused. Why was this toothpaste smiling at me? Why was the ghost of Christmas Future from Mickey's Christmas Carol trying to kill me? And thou art dead? Thou art stupid. This is the worst game I've ever played. And because of that experience, my young, naive self would not touch another RPG for quite some time. Moving to the Super Nintendo, we continued our tradition of moving to the right and killing everything in our path. I started getting into racing games like F-Zero and fighting games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. We also picked up the Sega Genesis, which continued the tradition of moving to the right, except very, very fast this time, killing everything in our path. And of course I saw the Mortal Kombat cabinet in the local Pizza Hut, and you better believe Mortal Monday was a big day for me. How excited I was to go back home with the brand new blood code that one of my friends gave me and tried it out. It's ABACABB, by the way. And it was about this time that I heard that video games were coming on CDs, which was a crazy idea, and even crazier that the Genesis was going to get its own CD player. With my family being big gamers, of course we picked it up, and it came with Sewer Shark, which blew my mind. Holy crap, there's actual video playing. And then we jump into the game with these characters that I just saw a video of. And at that point, I declared that video games could never be better, because if you want realism, you can't get more real than real. And on-rail shooters was the name of the game, pun intended, like Lodestar: The Legend of Tully Bodine and Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. But then I saw it, the one thing that would change my gaming trajectory forever. The cover of the instruction manual was foil, and I saw an animation style that I'd never seen before. Hey, I'm from the Midwest in the 90s. I was not subjected to Japanese anime. The characters look cool, and young me said, "Oh hey, it's a game about a cartoon. I like cartoons, let's get that." And how surprised I was to boot up the game and nearly immediately see a naked animated floating girl in a crystal. Cut to an upside down flying pink cat and an Indiana Jones style escape, and I was hooked. This game's gonna be awesome, I thought. I can't wait to run to the right and kill everything in my path. But I was in for a rude awakening. We didn't subscribe to any video game magazines. There were no reviewers that I was familiar with. There was no Twitch or YouTube to hear anything about this game that I just picked up. And much to my surprise, this thing was a role-playing game. I was completely clueless, and boy was there a lot of reading. But I liked talking. And I liked acting. So why not? This could be a script that I could improv on the spot. That's a plus. But I had to figure out combat the hard way, and boy did it take me a minute to get my feet under me. If this game was real time with pause like Baldur's Gate, I would have been up the creek. But luckily it was turn-based, so I was able to take my time and get my feet under me. And then a military dude with a spike coming out of his head telling me that civilians weren't allowed around here and the area was dangerous. Okay, you've got my attention, White Knight Leo. No, not that White Knight. Getting to the tower and meeting Lucia really opened my eyes that a video game could tell a story, and that I was about to embark on a really big adventure, and I was excited to keep going. We met the dancer at a carnival named Gene. We met a guy with loaded dice and a gambling problem who was down on his luck and seemed to have the worst luck ever. No, not that one. Yeah, that's the one, Ronfar. We met an aspiring mage who made a machine to try to kill us, just to test our magic. And as I played and got further into the story, I saw something in video games that I personally had not seen before. Character development, actually growing, changing, becoming something different by the end of the game. and I was bound and determined to get Lucia to Pentaguglia to meet her fake goddess. And being the only one in town with a Sega CD, my friends kept asking me day after day, what happened in Lunar last night? What happened in Lunar last night? And I became a storyteller myself, retelling the tales of the night before. And when I completed Lunar, I was sad that the story had ended, that there was no Lunar 3 for me to play. So it was that moment that I decided that RPGs were for me, and I was going to try to play as many as I could afford, or my family could afford. I spent many hours in the Golden Saucer, not paying any attention to Sephiroth at all. I explored the island of Melinet to get the Moonlight Sword. I relit the Dragonfires to stop Mehrunes Dagon. I fought Darkspawn, battered and bruised, wandered the wasteland looking for a water chip, and for good measure walked the Capital Wasteland trying to fix their water too. Swung by New Vegas on the way to the Commonwealth, stopped the Sorak invasion, had my throne sold back to me by a goblin on a road, yeeted a lady in a hole in the planet, listened to the most hardcore choir I've ever heard, stopped a netherbrain, helped my father make a sword, lost it, and then got it back. All these experiences and more because I took a chance on Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. I'm not saying it's going to be Game of the Year. In fact, it's probably going to release and not too many people are even going to hear about it. Of course, on the modern day internet, more people have problems with it than people who are excited about it. But I, for one, am excited to see Lunar come back. It's been 25 years since it was re-released on PlayStation. Before the announcement that they were re-releasing it on Steam, I was actually wondering if I would ever even play it again. And sure, it doesn't have the original voice actors. And they may cut scenes because of modern sensibilities don't agree with some of the decisions that they chose to make. I still owe a great deal of my gaming experience to Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. So you can bet I'm going to get it, no matter what. And I'm going to play it. And I just hope that when I play it, I'm not teleported back to 6-year-old me, sitting in front of Dragon Warrior, screaming, "This game sucks."